So the purpose of this video is to help our QFloors users that are converting over to QFX to have a better idea of some of the things that they need to be aware of the first couple of times that they're logging in. After you do this a couple of times, it'll be fine. But there are some things that you need to understand and some things that you need to configure the first times that you're going into QFX. First of all, we are using a different application to access QFX. It's called Windows App. You'll see that it's this little blue square. Well, the blue square with the four white squares. If I hover over it, it says Windows App. If I click on it right here, it comes up and it displays a window like this. If you don't see this little blue square, we should have helped you set this up ahead of time. But if you don't see it there, you can come over to your search bar over here and type in Windows App like that, and it will come up. And then I always like to pin to the taskbar. That means it will put it right there. If you unpin like that, then it's going to go away from down there. Once you like exit out of here like that, you can see it's not there anymore. So if I come back and do my Windows app again, right click right here, pin to the taskbar. Now it comes up down here. You saw it pop up. And now you can go ahead and click on it and it will start the application. And this is where we're starting from right here. Okay, the first thing you're going to need to do is sign in to your Windows app if you haven't already. Sometimes you're already signed in, so you won't have to do this, but I just want to show you right here. This little bubble up here is the username that you're using to sign in with right here. You'll probably have an O1, O2, O3 that tells you which user you are at. Okay. If you're not signed in at all, you can sign in right here with an account. They will give you a username, which is this right here. You'll have one for your account, and then it'll ask you for a password, and that's how you sign in. I am already signed into this account as QFX Chad right here, and you'll see that there's nothing on my screen here when it comes up. That's because I'm under the devices right here. If you click underneath apps down here, you should see something appear like this icon to be able to go in. There are a couple that we recommend that you click on the list view here because it will give you a different view right here and give you a connect button that you can click on, right? So by clicking on this button right here, you can hit connect, and this is where it's going to go ahead and get you in to QFloors. It'll bring up the sign in screen here in just a second. This is now where you're going to put in your QFloors username and password, which is different from the Windows app username and password. You probably have two different ones here. So I'm going to quickly put in mine, and you'll see it won't take a lot of time to get to the next window here. I'm going to go out of this and come back to the first window for just 1 second. If you choose not to use this view and you use the grid view, you got to make sure that you only click once on this icon or else it will really mess you up. Unless you are on a Mac or an Apple, then you click twice. So I like this view over here. I would keep it here if I were you. Okay, I'm back in my program here now. When you first come in here, sometimes the scaling factor is off for your monitors, and it's hard to see things like either you might only see a couple of lines here, so you can't see like all six that I'm seeing, or other times you might see too many, like 10 or 11, and it gets really small where you can't really see it. If that's the case, you need to look at the resolution on your monitor. 6 is about the right amount to at least start with. So if you come out here and you right click, if it's not looking good for you, you can right click and go to display settings like I just went to. And then when I click on my monitor, I recommend that you start with 1920 by 1080 if you're having a problem seeing the text, if it's too small or too big. Start with this, and then you should select 100 here. You can see that I've got a different percentage, but that's because I've customized my own monitor. So I would turn off the scaling, go back to 100, start at that. And then if you want to adjust the scale, once you come in and look at it, then you should adjust the scale from there. Okay. That's what I recommend. If that doesn't work for you, go ahead and give us a phone call and we'll help you out. Okay, so you'll notice that when you come into the software that the colors have changed. That we have a light gray now with a bright white background. Um, some people don't like how bright this is, so we have an option to go with in we call a dark theme mode. And to do that, you can come up to File, go to Preferences, go to Employee Preferences, and then you can see this colors dark theme right here. If you click on that, and then when you exit the software, by clicking that red X button up at the top. Then you can come back in by just clicking back the connect button, and you'll notice how dark the whole background is here now, right? And then if I log in, almost there, you can see how this is now everything's got a dark background. You can click on this. So you can choose whichever color scheme that you want. I've switched this back to the light mode now and want to show you a couple of other things. The very first time you come in here and try to print from QReporter, so a lot of people hit the Control Q, or they will hit this print button right here, or they will hit QReporter down here, custom reports, right? You'll get this box that comes up for you to log in. A lot of you probably haven't done this for a long time because you have your passwords automatically saved for QReporter. So if you're an admin, there's an admin and then there's a password. If you don't know what that is, you'll have to call us and get it from us or email us. But everybody can get in underneath the cells um, user like this. And I would also automatically click this like right here, and then that will allow you to get in like that. And then if you push OK, you don't need a password. It will automatically log you in for the first time, and then you won't need to do that again. You'll notice if I exit QReporter, file, exit, and then if I come in and do that same thing again, QReporter, you'll notice that it comes automatically in here, right? And you can select your sales orders like you just could before. The one difference is you cannot email these. Well, you can email these out from here, but if you have payment requests, they won't work from here anymore. We have a new button that solves that. So if you're wanting to email to a customer and you have QPay and you want to request for a payment, we have a new button over here to do that. So here's our new Pay Now Request button right out on the main window here. This all works like it did before, but we have an additional feature where if you want to also include a sales order so that they can see what they're paying for, this little drop down box right here, you can select which sales order that you want. And you can see when it brings it up, you can see what will look like when you send it. So you just hit the send button here and it will send a payment request with a sales order. So that's a minor change for people that have QPay and you're wanting to get them a pay now button with a sales order. You have to do it through this method. We found that it won't work the other way. So just a minor little detail on the save there. you'll notice that the print button right here, when I click on this, the report does not come up, and that's what it's going to look like the very first time. Um, and some of you have QReporter reports that would pop up. This is the default Q Floors report. And so if it looks like this and you're used to seeing your sales order pop up, this is how you fix that. So you come over here to reports. Whoops, let me get out of the printer thing here. Come over to reports, come down to Q Reporter, and then you'll see this sales detail button right here. This corresponds to this print button right here. Each one of these are a print button. So if I click on sales detail and now I say I want to connect this Q Reporter sales order to this print button, I just hit save settings. I can go out of here now. And then when I hit the print button, now it brings up that sales order. So that's, you're going to need, if you've had this happening in the past and it looks like that other window, you're going to need to redo this so that you have the right one connected to your button up there. Okay, so now we're going to talk about file management, and we have to have a good way to transfer files from the QFX cloud computers down to your local computers, right? Down to your home computers and back and forth for several different reasons. So, the first thing I would do, I would minimize this, come down to your local computer here, click on the folders or the Explorer window. If you can't find that, have somebody help you. Then I would create a new folder specifically for the files to go back and forth. So if you right click, I did a right click here, hit new folder. I'm on my C drive on my local computer, my home computer. And then I would name this something like, if you put an underscore, it will put it at the top of the list, which I really like. QFX, maybe you put like not cloud, right? So that you know that it's not in the cloud, it's on your local computer. You can name it whatever you want, but that's just a thought about it. And you'll see if I refresh this, it puts it up at the top of the list of everything. So now if I come back into QFX, I will be able to see that drive when I'm doing file management. So things like the document manager will work just like it did before. So if I'm right here and I right click on my docs and do add file, now I can come down to this PC and you'll see that this is the QFX Cloud C drive. This is the QFX Q drive. And this right here is my local computer, right? The one where I'm doing it from. So if I double click on that and let it go, you can see that the QFX not cloud is at the very top, like this. So I could click this right here and add any files that I had put in there into the document manager. Okay. So that's just a quick way that you know, and you can see that the document manager would work that way. Let's say that I want to export a file. Let's say that I'm going to create a CSV file here. So I shift click to do my export, right? Well, I'm going to find again my C right here, drive, and it should put my QFX up at the top to get done here. So there's my QFX not cloud. And then you can export and save your file right into your local computer if you wanted. Okay. So, and then you would come to your local computer, and you do my QFX not cloud, and you can see that that file is there. Right. So transferring things back and forth. You can, if you're going to do a print, right? Let's see if we can do this print, and you're going to print to a PDF, this PDF like this, right? You can come back in here and you can find, your file. If you want to move that PDF down to your local computer, you can find that file again and do that folder, I mean. There we are. And I just do PDG, whatever. That will work. So now I have that file down there. You'll be able to see it down there. So you can see how you can do that. We also have this new little feature where that can help move things back and forth. It's up underneath the file manager menu called File Manager. If you pull this thing out, it'll help you do a little bit of a shortcut here where um, I can see my QFX not Chad down here. I can get here and I can transfer files. This right hand side is the QFX cloud drive. This side is my local computer. So let's say I wanted to put a report up here in my local computer like this, and I can either, I believe I can drag and drop it on there, or you can highlight on here and hit copy. You can right click and copy and paste. So you can move files back and forth from your local drive to your QFX drive. So these are just a couple of hints on how you can do these things. If it were me on my Q drive right here, I would create uh, folders up here on underneath my reports drive where all of your company can share the same reports or the same files. So any files that you want everybody to share, I would keep them up here on your cloud drive because it's so much faster to deal with things on your cloud drive rather than copying them back and forth. Every time you have to copy from the cloud down to your local computer, it takes some time. So if there's files that you can share with everybody, keep them up in the cloud or in the document manager, right? And the document manager is in the cloud. So keep everything in there. But the only time I would move them down to your local computer, your home computer, whatever, is when you have files that you want to create that you don't want people to see, or if you're creating PDFs that you're emailing, you'll have to do that same thing. Okay, so those are a couple of hints for you to using the file manager. You might also notice that some of the columns are reset to some defaults. Up here, the columns order or the columns are to be displayed on all of the windows. So you might have to reset those. There are some defaults that are coming across for your stores, but just kind of be aware of that, and maybe some of the other defaults will be reset. But for the most part, you'll be getting something there. Just be aware of that. Additionally, if you leave your computer idle for 4 hours, it will automatically turn off. So if you leave QFX up and going, spend 4 hours, it'll shut it down automatically. Okay, one last thing is once you get all of the settings added to the system the way that you want it, you need to make sure that you save it. The way that you save those settings is by exiting the program. You can do that in one of two ways. That would be right up here at the top right hand corner with the close or file exit over here. Either is fine. At the end of the day, you'll do the same thing. So I'm going to exit out, save all my settings, and now I am ready to go back in and start using the software. Just like to welcome everybody to QFX. See you later.